So what I'm going to be doing is showing you guys this amazing barbecue party that was held the beginning of the year in Kolkata, India. And I'm just going to be showing you parts of the video for this amazing food. And what we're looking at first is going to be this, it's something called chicken malai kebab. And after that, there will be some amazingly big prawn, tandoori prawn or tandoori shrimp. And let's just see how it looks. Oh, that looks amazing.
আচ্ছা, এটা হচ্ছে চিকেন মালাই কাবাব। হ্যাঁ, এটা আমি রাত্রে ম্যারিনেট করে রাখা হয়েছিল, হোল নাইট ম্যারিনেট করেছি। এবার এটা বারবিকিউ করব, ঠিক আছে?
So here we're gonna be getting the reaction.
Bye bye 2020, welcome 21. Super, mind blowing, fantabulous. Omlito boss, omlito. মাখন করবি? এরকম সব চিকেনটা এই গিয়ে এই টানতে হবে, তারপরে না।
Okay, so this is the last item. It's a main dish and very popular in Kolkata. It's called chicken chop. And does that not look amazing?
সাথে আছে লাচ্ছা পরোটা। Thank you.
These are the shrimp prawns, or sorry, the shrimp tandoori, huge shrimps. Okay, everyone, so I'm going to start the chicken chop or chicken chop first of the three dishes that I'm going to be making today. And I'm very excited. I've never made this before. And I'm going to take my time to show all the ingredients one by one, which I'm going to be using to marinate the chicken. But before I do that, I also wanted to show you something that's quite important. And that is, I wanted to show, I'm just going to use my tongs here, and the children, of course, are playing in the background if you hear them. So I have my big bowl that I usually use for marinating, and I wanted to show, if you can see this, I have slashed the chicken, I've skinned the chicken, and I've made slashes, as you can see, inside the chicken. And that is to ensure that the marinade, I'm just flipping it in yogurt, it's about a cup of yogurt, and that is to ensure that while the chicken is marinating, that the marinade goes deeply. See, there's another one on the back of this chicken leg, drumstick, and thigh. And the other thing I wanted to mention also, before I forget, is that chicken chop is traditionally made with these types of leg thigh pieces. So this is, I just want to maintain tradition and do it that way. So I'm just going to go over the ingredients. Here is my, this time, garam masala. I added a nutmeg, and I'm going to be roasting this and then, of course, grinding it in my mortar and pestle. This time I added some nutmeg, and before I didn't do that because it gives a unique flavor that's very delicious and necessary for this dish. I have some ginger and garlic, about 2 tablespoons total, that I grated by hand. I have, this is called basan, and I ran out a little bit, so I added another spice that I had in the house, a spice mixture from Shan. But this is supposed to be basan, which is the coating that you use for making pakoras. You can get that at any Indian store, and even Walmart, Loblaws, Metro, places like that as well, I believe. This is turmeric. I didn't have any chilies, green chilies. They're hard to find, so I used cayenne. This is interesting. This is cashew and poppy paste. So I took some cashew nuts and some poppy seeds, and I ground them with a little bit of water in the blender, and that is going to give a lot of amazing flavor. This is ghee, also necessary, and this I put in, usually I grate it by hand, but this time I put it in the blender, and it's just basically 1 small onion. So there you go. I am just going to, now I'm going to just mix all the ingredients. Oh, and I forgot, actually, this is also important. This is milk with some saffron threads. This is saffron. And you take some of the threads. I'm going to have to, you can see the color. I left some of the threads in, but I'm not going to put the saffron into here. I'm just going to put the milk part in, and you can see it's a little yellowish red, and that's from the saffron. And I also forgot to show, I need a little bit vegetable oil to make sure everything mixes well, and also a bit of rose water. So here I go with mixing everything that I've shown you. This is the ginger garlic paste. I'm going to do the garam masala last. I'm going to mix in the ghee, and does it smell lovely? Oh my gosh. It smells very, very good. And the cashew nut paste. And I'm going to take the, leaving the saffron threads in here. I'm going to put a little bit of rose water. The rose water. This gives it a beautiful smell. And the vegetable oil, not too much, maybe about a very small teaspoon. So I'm just going to mix this, and I will be back. Okay, so I washed my hands very well, as I usually do before I start cooking, and I'm going to be mixing this all in with my hands because there's nothing like it in terms of getting it done really, really well. Before I forget, I wanted to show you, this is the nutmeg. What I did was I used my grater, and I grated some into this chicken, and I used my mortar and pestle to grind. They're not completely ground, as you can see, but to bruise, to open up the cardamom pods and the cloves. I'm just going to put them in like that, actually. Whole spices. You can always take it out when you're eating. You can do whatever you want, or you can grind them, and actually a lot of people do grind them, but I like the flavor of whole spices. And as you can see, oh my gosh, this chicken, it is relatively fresh. It was just purchased today, and it's very, very soft, and you can see this beautiful color and all this amazing marinade. It's going to give it so much flavor. It's absolutely unbelievable. Now, so there you go, and I'm going to put this in the Sorry, and I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for the next 5 or 6 hours to make it marinate really, really well, and I will be back. Okay, so now we're going to get started on the chicken malai kebab, and these I just have 2 medium to small sized, I would say medium, chicken thighs with bone. I find bone gives added flavor, but you can use boneless. And I have this, I've had it marinating in a tiniest bit of salt, but you don't need salt, and yogurt, plain yogurt, and some ginger and garlic paste. And while that continues to marinate for just a little while longer, so as I was saying, as while that continues to marinate a little while longer, I'm going to show you the remaining ingredients. And while I show you that, I'm going to just go quickly to the frying pan where I have not vegetable oil, but I have a bit of ghee that I've melted. Not too much, because this is very rich. And I've put in, I'm not going to do a roast of garam masala this time. I have some cinnamon sticks, some cardamom, and some cloves, which I'm very lightly frying. And added to that, I'm going to have, what I'm going to do, actually I may as well just do it now. I have this, and this is onion paste. So I've just blended it in the blender. It smells really good. And what I'm going to try to do is get this beautifully cooked, so it emits a beautiful golden, when onions are golden and they've been lightly fried, that smell. And I don't know if you can see it, but what I did, just to save a bit of time, I didn't have ground coriander, so I had some coriander seeds, and I just put it in the blender with the onions, as I did some fenugreek seeds. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to create a beautiful onion paste that's fried in ghee, as well as a bunch of other Indian spices that are typically used for Indian food, cinnamon, cloves, and cardamom, and we have, of course, the coriander seeds and the fenugreek seeds. And fenugreek in Bengali is called methi. And I have methi also, kasuri methi, just the dried green leaves. So while the onions continue to cook, and they're a light sort of golden brown color, you don't want them to burn, I'm going to now add my chicken pieces, and I will explain later. I have actually, I'm improvising, because in this original recipe, you're supposed to burn the onion, and I do not have the equipment for that. And also, I live in an apartment, so it's quite tricky to do something like that on an oven stove. And frankly, I'm really not, and I'm just going to put the fenugreek leaves in. And I forgot to mention, I also have some leftover cashew nut paste, and I'm just going to put that. This time it's not poppy, it's only cashew nut. For this recipe, we do not need poppy. So now I'm going to just mix that. Okay, so this is, for me, this is the fun part, and I have not made this dish before. This is supposed to be grated mozzarella, but I have a little tiny bits of cheddar in there. It's ideally supposed to only be mozzarella, but because this is mixed, I'll just add the little bits of cheddar that are in there. I'm sure it's not going to make it bad tasting. I'm just adding it to the chicken that I have started to lightly fry. And to this, the chicken has to cook a little bit more. But to this, and by the way, I wish I could show you the smell. It's absolutely amazing. So this is cream, not milk. I've added a bit of cream to this, and I will continue cooking this for a little while longer. And once this is cooked a bit more and the milk has blended with the cheese and all of these wonderful yummy things, I am going to, I don't have skewers, but I'm going to put them in the oven to bake, and this should be absolutely amazing. It already looks so good and it smells so wonderful. So stay tuned and I will be back. Okay, so compared to, we're going to do the third item on our feast. list of items for a feast, and it is the tandoori prawn. And as I was going to say, compared to everything else that I have done, the other two chicken dishes, this is going to be a piece of cake. So I have, because I don't want to overdo it, it's only for 2 people, I have 6 large prawns or shrimp. I have ginger garlic paste that I grated. It's not cheating. In the recipe that I saw online, the lady who had done this beautiful party, for her chicken tandoori, she uses a bit of spice mix some chicken tandoori spice mix in her recipe. So I'm using a little bit of that, and that is this here. I'm using some Kashmiri chili, which is not hot, it's not spicy hot, but it will give a nice color, because I refuse to put, use food coloring if I don't have to. This is garam masala, and I have some lime juice here, and I also have some yogurt, but I don't have, this time I'm not using a lot of yogurt because it's only for this small amount of shrimp, and I don't want them to get too heavy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour a little bit lime juice with the yogurt. What that's going to do is that's going to help to, actually I should have done this, last, but that's okay. I've got the shrimp. I'm putting the ginger garlic paste, because the shrimp are very, very delicate, so you don't want to break them, and I'm just putting the rest of the spices. Actually, what I will do is I will put this, as I've mentioned many, many times, this is not rehearsed. So I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to put the shrimp back, because I don't want them to break. And here we go. And so I'm taking this and I'm going to give it a nice mix. And it's going to be, rustic looking, but that's okay. This is going to be very, very delicious. And now I'm going to put the shrimp back in. And I'm going to cover the shrimp. And does this not look amazingly good? Oh my gosh, it looks so good, I think. So this is going to marinate, but not more than an hour at the very, very most, because shrimp is very delicate and you don't want to make it so soft that it falls apart in the cooking. And I will be back. I will be putting the chicken, as I was saying, I will be putting the chicken kebabs to bake. I will be putting these prawns or shrimp to bake as well. And the only difference, I'm just going to bring out the beautiful chicken, which these are going to be baked, and they're the kebabs. And I just wanted to show how beautiful this looks, by the way. This beautiful gravy, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be really great. What I wanted to say was, with this, I'm going to, halfway through the baking, I'm going to be basting it with butter. And I think that's important for the taste. It is very, very rich, and it needs to be basted with butter, not vegetable oil. So there you go. I will be back very soon. And the next thing I'm going to do while both of these items bake, I am going to prepare the chicken chop, which is going to be done on the stove. And that's pretty much it. And we will be back. So do these not look amazing? This is the chicken malai kebab, or the chicken malai kebabs. And you can see there's lots and lots of beautiful marinade gravy on top. It's almost solidified a bit with the marination. And here we have the amazing tandoori prawns or shrimp that will be baked very, very, not for very long, because we don't want them to get tough and rubbery. And I just can't wait. I think this is going to be absolutely amazing. Anyways, we'll be back soon. Okay, so we have some vegetable oil in the skillet, and you're supposed to use 2 tablespoons of ghee, but in the recipe that I'm following, they had more chicken. So I'm just going to use 1 tablespoon of ghee mixed in with the vegetable oil, And while I do that, I'm just going to show the chicken, which is looking very, very luxurious, I think. I'm just going to flip it a little bit. And just to show, oh my gosh, it's just so, wow, look at that. So I'm going to take this chicken with, oh, my tongs, a little clumsy today, and I'm going to put it in the skillet. And I'm going to fry both pieces lightly. And after I do that, look at how luxurious this looks. I just can't get over it. And the smell is really, really amazing. So I'm just going to put both pieces in, like so. And I'm going to brown the pieces. And that's going to be for a few minutes. It's going to take a few minutes to do that. And while I do that, I'm just showing that I have the marinade, which I'm mixing. And back to the chicken. So once I have each side brown, I'm going to be cooking this slowly over lower heat. It's at high right now. And I'm going to be adding a bit of water. And once that is done, I'm going to remove the shrimp and the kebabs from the oven. And we're going to have an amazing feast. Because I've made tandoori before, but I've never made this chicken chop. And I have not made the kebabs that I showed you. Let me flip this over. This is a beautiful color on this chicken. And you can serve this meal with rice, basmati rice, or paratha. And I think I will go for the paratha simply because there's going to be so much sauce, so much gravy. I think it will be really good with paratha. So I will be making some paratha as well. Oh, this is looking really, really good. So once I finish the chicken, as I said, I'm just going to continue cooking and browning it. And then I'm going to be adding the rest of this beautiful marinade. I'll be adding a little bit of water to cover it and then just slow cooking it for maybe half an hour to 45 minutes on low until it gets cooked and very, very moist and fall off the bone. So I will be back with the whole meal put together, and I really can't wait. I'm very, very excited. So as you can see, I've added the rest of the marinade on top of the chicken, and I added some water. So just enough to cover it. And I'm just going to cover it as I mentioned and let it cook for half an hour to 45 minutes on low heat. And once it's done, I will be back with everything. Hi everyone, so I'm in the kitchen. I'm getting all the stuff out. I arranged it on a plate, but I'm going to show you. This is one of the chicken malai kebabs. It absolutely smells amazing. I made some paratha, and this is the tandoori shrimp. I actually did do it on the stovetop, sort of, and I'll explain that later. This is the chicken chop, and I got some coriander chutney for the paratha. And I'm just gonna eat this. I am so excited. It looks so good. And George was saying that the smell is amazing. So I'm gonna get my fork and I'm gonna get a knife and I'm gonna ask you to follow me into the bedroom because that's probably the best place I could eat a meal this delicious looking. So follow me to the bedroom and I'm going to start. Okay, so I'm just sitting down to this scrumptious meal that is, as I mentioned before, a recreation of this amazing party in Kolkata. So I'm just cut up the pieces here and I'm having a bit of the kebab. It's so good. This is the chicken chop. Really, really decadent. I'm just about to have a shrimp. Very, very, very tasty. It's so, so good. So we're gonna eat our dinner, but I wanted to say goodbye to you from here. Please give this a try. If not all three dishes, whichever one you choose or whichever combination, you're not going to be disappointed. And just to finish off about the shrimp, I never baked it. I put it in the oven with the kebabs just on the top rack, and it cooked. And they're so, so good. So give this a try. You are going to love this. And I'm really excited because this is not food that you can buy in Canadian restaurants. So this is wonderful. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And stay well, stay safe, stay blessed, and talk to you very soon. Bye for now. Thank you.